Hey guys, Tyler Isber here with ESPN Esports. And January 11th, the extravaganza to end all extravaganzas, the League of Legends preview show, ESPN Esports, 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. Be right here on twitch.tv/ESPN Esports. Go to YouTube, go to Twitter. It's going to be an extravaganza to end all extravaganzas. But first, I'm going to give you my top 5 European teams going into the upcoming LEC season. And of course, number 1, it has to be the team that almost had the perfect year, the team that almost completed the Grand Slam. It is G2 Esports coming in at number 1. And they bring in the same starting 5 as last year, but as you might have seen on social media, they're not playing the same roles as they did last year. Caps is apparently going to the AD carry position. Perks, now Luka the Bazooka, retiring Umajon, the AD carry for the foreseeable future. Luka Bazooka going to mid lane. And even though on paper this might fail, Caps might not fit in the AD carry role just as well as Perks did last season. But even still, this team has too much talent not to succeed. And even if G2 for whatever reason fails with Perks back in mid lane, they can always swap back. This team is so versatile that you can put these players in any position or role, and I would still pick them number 1. You can put Wonder in mid lane. You can put Mickey X in top lane. I'm still pretty confident that they'd be number 1 in the LEC. Their goal for this year is not an LEC title. It's not for a legacy in Europe. It's to win Worlds. They were so close to their dream last year that this team, without a shadow of a doubt, is going into the 2020 season is going for the World Championship or nothing. It's championship or bust, Summoner's Cup or bust for G2 Esports. Number 2, maybe a bit of a surprise right here. We have Origin. I've talked to a few people that have seen this new Origin in action, and they look really good in scrims. And I think they have, besides G2, the highest ceiling of any team in Europe, where they might not get out to the fastest start in the spring season. I think the 5 players they have a lot of talent that they can bring to the Rift. Upset, I've been a big fan of since he's been on Schalke. I've always seen him as the next big thing in Europe, and you can discuss if he really should earn that moniker of being the next ace AD carry, behind Reckless and everything. But I really like Upset. Nuke Duck, as always, is just consistently just a consistent top 4, top 5 mid laner who can have those peaks that can get you into a top 3 MVP discussion. Alfari, again, top 3 in the position. You're just bringing so many great players on this team. Xerxes coming in. It's just a loaded roster. And then you have Destiny, kind of the young pup, coming in from Australia, from the Oceania region. And if he can acclimate to Europe and show off the talent that he proved in scrims that got him this audition for the first place that he showed off at Worlds, then I'm pretty positive that this team could challenge G2 in the finals, not win, but they can challenge them. Number 3, Fnatic, the old kings and new. This team bringing in most of the starting 5 from last split. The only big difference is Selfmade, and Selfmade is my player to watch for this team. Bwipo, coming in after winning everything at All-Stars. Reckless, consistent as ever in the bottom lane. Hillsang, everything's there except Selfmade. Selfmade is the make or break for this team. If Selfmade can, adapt and mature as a player and turn into that all-star caliber talent that I know he has, and I know everyone who's scouted him and watched him knows he can get to that level, then Fnatic can get back to the throne. But if Selfmade, who is very, very personality, he has a big personality. If he can't function in this roster with a lot of big personalities on it, then this team is going to take a nosedive, and 3rd place is maybe a generous ranking for them. So I think a 3rd place ranking for Fnatic going into the year it's a good rank. They could either go up if Selfmade works out and everyone on this team starts to gel and they're happy and they can get that kind of chorus that a team needs to actually win a championship nowadays, or they could fall down the rankings if everything doesn't work out and he builds IE on Rek'Sai in a do-or-die game. Number 4, Rogue. Coming into last year, it was kind of a joke that Rogue was even in the league. During the spring split, people were saying that Rogue should be kicked out. They were a joke. But after bringing in some talented rookies in the summer and upsetting Splice in the summer playoffs, they started to get some respect. And going into this year, I just love what they're doing. They've only gotten better. They are building more around their rookie players, Inspired, Finn, Larson, who have the potential to be the best top side in the league in a year or two. And they're bringing in Hans Sama, who has always had the talent and ability to be a great AD carry, but we've seen glimpses of it on Misfits. We've seen glimpses of it, at Worlds, in playoffs. We've seen that, tiny glimpse of what Hans Sama could be. This season, I want to see the Hans Sama that Rogue needs the Hans Sama that Misfits wanted him to become. And I think putting him with a team with so many talented youngsters really is putting him into a position to succeed, giving him Vander, a veteran support alongside with him. I really like Rogue. I think they are my dark horse to make World if, Selfmade doesn't work out on Fnatic or OG doesn't live up to the expectations that their talent has on the roster. G2 is going to make it. G2 could play Carlos in mid lane and still make it, but Rogue, I think, is the team that if everything goes according to plan and you can see one of those top teams fall off, they can definitely make Worlds, and I'm very excited to see them play in 2020. And finally, number 5, God Gilius. God given. Two of the biggest personalities in esports history combining to join Schalke No Fear. And I have to say, there's not one team in the world I'm more excited to see this year than Schalke No Fear. You have Forgiven, who's been at the Greek army for a few years, kind of been put in an ice, he's like a person that you just kind of freeze in time and then you just bring him to the future. How is he going to function into this new world, this new crazy world where AD carries play Syndra? How is he going to function, playing against Caps? I just can't wait to see Forgiven, who is mechanically one of the greatest AD carries of all time. Him and Uzi and a few others play AD carry like no one else. I think the most interesting thing Forgiven ever told me was at Worlds in 2016, and he told me the reason why he respects Uzi so much is because every minion they fight like it's win or lose. If they lose a single minion, the game's over. They fight like every minion for every creep, for every little thing, every little advantage. They fight like their lives are on the line. And to bring him from that era to this new wacky area of alcos and mage bots and trolling and craziness like that, I'm just excited to see how he functions in this new era. And you bring God Gilius, who at his best of times looks like what he talks when he's at his best, when he's playing, when he's churning along, when he's at his peak, he is who he says he is. He is God Gilius. And then there's other times and he gets replaced by Kikis. So it's going to be a very fun ride for Schalke. I think they're a playoff team. I think they're top 5. And if Forgiven can, function in this new wacky land of 80 carries, maybe they can get a bit higher. That's all I have to say about Europe. And if you want more news, action, and previews, check us out on January 11th, the preview extravaganza to end all extravaganzas. Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, check us out at ESPN Esports, and we'll see you soon.